Hello again, Bay Ridge. Welcome to another edition of After Hours. This week, I want to talk a little bit more about pulling down strongholds. On Sunday, we looked at the idea of the battleground of our spiritual warfare, and especially the idea of strongholds and what they are and how they work in our life and are part of our warfare. And they're a key part of spiritual warfare. And so today I just want to expand it a little bit by talking about the fact that if we're going to be laboring to pull down strongholds that Satan has tried to build up in each of us and us as a congregation even, it requires sustained, specific, consistent battle. Sustained, specific, and consistent battle. By sustained, I mean the same thing we talked about a few weeks ago, really, that we talked about how it requires endurance, the idea of standing, that spiritual warfare is in fact inherent in the metaphor that we're dealing with here. What's working is that warfare is a long event. It rarely is something that is quickly. There are rarely quick victories in spiritual warfare. That's true in physical warfare, which is building a metaphor off of the reality of spiritual warfare, but it's also true in spiritual warfare. There are very, very few quick victories. So, and this continues on particularly in the idea of a stronghold. A stronghold or a citadel usually required, rather than a frontal assault, laying siege to something over a long period of time. They do not capitulate easily. And so if we're going to lay siege to the strongholds in our life, if we're going to do the work necessary to see them pulled down and brought down, it's going to require sustained effort on our part. Secondly, it requires specific effort on our part. Spiritual warfare is a specific work. And what I mean by that is strongholds have to be discovered specifically. It's not just we're generically fighting against a stronghold. We have to know exactly what it is that we're doing. And then they have to be attacked specifically, not just generically. What I mean by that is a stronghold of fear is very different than a stronghold of pride or anger. And they have to be attacked very specifically. And we use the weapons that God has given us very, very specifically. So we'll be talking this Sunday, and for example, one of the weapons God has given us is the Word of God. But it's not just that, well, I read 3 chapters a day, so I'm reading through the Bible in a year, and that's going to help me with the stronghold. That is not the case. Strongholds have to be laid siege to very, very specifically in our warfare. And so it's not only sustained, it's specific warfare. And then thirdly, there is a consistency that is required. Spiritual war is fought moment by moment. If you think of the idea, the metaphor of laying a siege to something, you can't let up for a moment. Sieges don't work if you, in fact, just go away for a little period of time. That undoes all of the work of the siege. The way the siege works is moment by moment, you continue to lay siege to the stronghold or the city until it capitulates, until it is broken down. And so you and I have to fight the battle for our thoughts, our emotions, our words, and our actions moment by moment. And I especially want to zero in on that idea of thoughts, which is a key part. It's really the root of the strongholds that are built in us. It requires not just week by week or day by day. It's not even hour by hour. It is minute by minute, second by second consistency, that every thought that comes up has to be taken captive to make it obedient to Christ. If we're willing to do that, we will see that God is giving us powerful weapons to demolish the strongholds. But if we do not, if we are fighting it today and then not tomorrow, if we're fighting it this minute but not an hour from now, we find that we're ineffective against the strongholds in our life. Now, because spiritual warfare, therefore, is sustained and it's specific and it's consistent, that can sound a bit wearying, but this is why God tells us, find your strength in the Lord. This call to spiritual warfare is, again, because of the gospel, it is first and foremost a call to find our strength in the Lord, to look to Him, to build our relationship with Him, to draw near to Him so that we then can resist the devil. So I want to encourage you again this week, find your strength in the Lord. Be looking to Him. Don't grow weary in the battle of this well-doing of pulling down the strongholds in your life, but rather look to the Lord and let Him encourage you as you draw close to Him, learn more about Him, And as he reveals more about yourself and he reveals more about myself and us as a congregation, then we can learn to walk in the freedom that Christ gives us. I hope this is helpful to you. I look forward to seeing everybody this Sunday as we will continue with another look at spiritual warfare. God bless.